Thank you for tuning in to All About the Girls, the podcast. We're your host, me, Jenny Craig Brown, interviews incredible women to learn what powers them, what inspires them, and how they make our world a better place. Let's get to it. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of All About the Girls. This month, I'm really excited about this episode. I would like to welcome officially Erica Hemphill, president at Love You Baby Photography and owner at 1056 Brewing, so in Knox, Indiana. So if you've never been, get out there ASAP. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you. We've already got a little beverage here, I guess you could say. She brought an array. If you're not on YouTube, pop onto YouTube and check it out. But there is some 1056 beers. Dirty Duchess.
Yes.
You said is the Kolsch.
Exactly.
And then Road Warrior Red is a red ale.
Correct.
And what made you bring these today?
Well, I wanted to bring a light because I knew some people would be trying it here who may not be into craft beer yet.
Sure.
So a light is always smart to bring. And then Road Warrior Red is one of our staples and one of our flagship beers. So
I
happy
love
to bring
that
one along too. So.
And I should have asked, do you want a beer? Or do you want a seltzer or some wine? I've got
I actually
a sour.
will enjoy a little bit of the Kolsch because
Okay, perfect.
it's our brand new guy.
I'm like, I'm drinking all of your beer, but you don't get any.
I know where to find it.
Exactly, right? All right, so we'll dive right in as we kind of sip on these fantastic beverages. So for those that don't know Erica, tell us just about you, who you are, personality. Tell us just about you.
Well, I'm Erica Hemphill. My maiden name is DeRuntz. I grew up in Knox.
Okay.
And like you've already said, I own Love You Baby Photography and 1056 Brewing as well. So I'm kind of a go-getter kind of girl who likes a lot of adventure and a lot of challenge.
Yeah. That's two full-timers, and owning any company is kind of a full-time plus already.
Sure.
So that's a big endeavor. Mm-hmm. And you tell us a little bit about, you're married, correct?
Correct. I'm married to Michael Hemphill.
Got it.
Married for 10 years, going on 11.
Good. Congrats. And children?
We have 7 between us.
Oh my gosh.
And we've got 1 left at home, an 18-year-old. But
and everybody else is gone
they're
and
spread
on their
out
way
from Iowa to Florida,
Really?
Tennessee, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis. They're kind of all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
Living their fantastic little lives.
I was going to say, they're all out on their own, independent, doing their own thing. That's fantastic. That's got to feel good for you guys, too.
Absolutely. It's
that's
fun to watch.
success, right? At the
Always
truest form
fun.
of parenting. That's fantastic. And do you get to see all of them often? Obviously the one at
We
home,
do.
but you get to hang out often?
We tend to have probably 3 or 4 different Christmases every year because we travel around for those, and then we gather in Tennessee with the Florida kids. And of course, they come home, and we travel to them throughout the year. So we see all of them.
That's fantastic.
Several times a year.
Good. And tell us a little bit, let's dive into the business side of things, because you've got 2. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about both, because I think they're both obviously super interesting. So Love You Baby is probably the one I know the least about. Let's start there. Tell us a little bit about that company.
I contract with hospitals to provide newborn photo sessions to new families. So St. Joe, Mishawaka, St. Joe, Plymouth, LaPorte Hospital, and Porter, we go in every day with my team of photographers, and we greet every new mom and baby, and we do a quick photo shoot in their room for them, and we just keep making memories for them in the hospital.
Oh my gosh, how amazing.
It truly is.
That really is. And how did that all start? What happened that made that come about?
It's an evolution.
Yeah.
Years ago, I was a fire service photographer.
What does that mean? Like you would go to fires?
I was on the fire department, and I was part of the state's arson investigation team.
Ooh.
So anytime there was a structure fire, I would go in with the state fire marshal or their team. And I would document that through photography so that when they had to look closer at that or anything for court, they had all that information.
Okay.
So that was fun, but I was starting to get into side photography. And so I started volunteering for Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. That's a company that provides free photography to people who lose their babies. Never a good deal, but the least we could do is send them home with pictures.
Some memories, yeah.
When they don't get to take a baby home. And through that, I was able to make some connections and started doing live baby photography in hospitals as well. And then I started my own company. So
that's amazing. Great job. And that's been for how many years?
I've had Love You Baby Photography since 2014 as well. Same as the brewery.
That's really amazing. So then hop into the brewery. So 2014, you said you started.
That's when we started. Mm-hmm.
And how did it start? How did you get? I mean, you said you are in this photography biz. You've got this background in photography, and then your husband, I think, is a retired patrolman, police officer, state trooper. How do you get into beer?
In 2013, I bought him a homebrew kit for his birthday, and we brewed a nut brown ale, threw it in a fermenter in the kids' closet.
I love all of this.
And then we got on the motorcycle and rode to Houston.
Really?
So we could just leave it behind and forget about it and not mess with it and let it grow up. And we came home and we racked it onto a second fermenter and let it do its thing, and then we bottled it and put it in the fridge and prayed a little bit over it.
Yeah.
And when we opened it, we didn't stop laughing for a week because it was amazing.
Like your first one?
Yeah, the first one right out of the box.
And what kind of beer was it?
It was a nut brown ale.
Okay.
And let's be honest.
That's pretty impressive.
It seems impressive, but honestly, it was a homebrew kit. Unless you don't clean things,
it's gonna be...
you shouldn't screw up a homebrew kit.
Okay, that's good to know. I bought my dad one of those once. I don't think he's used it yet, but now I know he can succeed.
Just
so that's
be
great.
clean about it and you won't screw it up. But since I love a challenge, I said I would like to do this from all grain, nothing extract. I want to do this start to finish, big girl
like
style.
Us. Yeah.
So
I love that, big girl style.
I started researching recipes, and I made our own recipes. I bought the stuff. I started buying bigger equipment, and we brewed a stout, all grain, nothing from a kit. And again, it was amazing.
Wow.
And our friends loved it, and we loved it. And I started laughing and looking the other way and saying, oh, I hope he doesn't notice. But I just kept buying bigger stuff. And I would see him, he was a motorcycle officer, and he would be coming down the street, and I would hope to God Amazon would get to the house before he showed up. But sometimes he wouldn't, and I would be running to the front porch, and I would see him come down the street on that motorcycle, and his head would see the front porch, and the motorcycle kept going, but his head's back here. So I just kept buying bigger equipment and bigger equipment. And
that's fantastic.
so we finally decided that it might be a nice thing to get into as he looked forward to retirement, because it was time to start thinking about that.
Right.
And that's what we went for. So we started off on a one-barrel brew system when we started the business in 2014, and we've just kept going from there.
And is that the same year that you opened your actual location as well?
No.
When did you do that?
We couldn't have a tap room when Mike was a state trooper, the United States Police. Even though I own the company, their thoughts were he can't sweep the floor, he can't have any involvement because a state trooper can't have involvement in anything that gains income from the sale of alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And so we couldn't have that tap room.
Got it.
And so until he retired, we simply brewed beer, put it in kegs, sold it to restaurants, went to a ton of brew fests. I mean, we did brew fests every chance.
That's how I first heard about you, was at a brew fest, and I was like, wait, this is like right by my house.
Yeah.
And I was pumped about it. Yeah.
And because of that, when he retired, we started looking for a building, and we bought the building we're in. It was an old lumber yard. It seemed like it was more space than anybody could ever need. We're out of space already.
Yeah.
We built on a kitchen.
Because you guys have grown so much.
Absolutely, we have. And so when we bought that building and transitioned over to that and opened it, we had a great following already because of all those brew fests, because of the effort of getting into the restaurants and being on people's tables when they're eating dinner. It worked out really well.
That's amazing. Now, what was do you remember the first beer that you tapped at the tap room when it opened?
Well, we have 10 taps, so we did 10.
So you really filled it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Incredible
started
to
out
start
with 10
like that.
taps on the wall. And we knew from experience with friends, everybody said you will always run out. A small brewery opening like that on a weekend.
People are pumped about it.
Yeah, you're going to run out of beer. And I said, oh, we will never run out of beer. We stocked up. We worked hard and brewed our butts off
Like prepped
for
so
a
early
long
for it.
time. Even though we only had the building 6 weeks before we opened, we turned that building over in 6 weeks.
Wow.
But we knew it was coming, so we had been brewing, stockpiling beer, because I wasn't going to be the person that ran out of beer an opening weekend.
And you didn't?
Nope.
That's amazing. And you guys have now, kind of tell us how that's evolved to today. So you still have 10 taps, correct?
12. We run 12 now.
12.
My Aunt Karen, when she passed away, my cousins had this 1950s refrigerator in the basement, and they didn't know what to do with it. And they put it out there. If anybody wants this, I said, oh, I know exactly what to do with that. So we drilled two
I was just
tap
going to say,
handles
did you make it a kegerator?
Yeah, it's Aunt Karen's kick-ass kegerator. It's got graphics on it and everything.
Okay, I have not seen this.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've just never noticed it. But that's fantastic.
Yeah, it
Very
sits
cool.
right off the taps into the brew room.
Okay.
For easy access. You'll see it next time.
Yeah, now I will,
We
definitely.
moved it up closer to the taps.
Okay. And then you've got, I know you do some guest taps, correct?
We do. We always try to support our friends because they supported us.
Yeah.
When we were new into this, we always have a cider from Aftermath Cidery.
I was just going to say, I know you guys know Nikki Kaler and that crew, so.
You know, Nikki and I are good friends, and we became friends because her husband Steve is a state trooper, and he worked with Mike, so we had that connection there.
And
then,
she's, her product amazing, so shout out to her, Aftermath.
Everything about her is amazing.
Yeah, Running Finds Wine, all of it's fantastic.
You know,
so
the
you
whole
always...
when I grow up kind of deal, it's Nikki Kaler.
Okay, same. She is she was a speaker at our annual event just last year.
Yeah.
She's a powerhouse.
She is a force to be reckoned with for sure.
I love / am a little afraid of her.
As you should be. No, we all are.
I'm like, I love you. Yeah, cheers to Nikki. So, you've got this amazing brewery, you're running this photography company. What's that look like day to day? That's a big responsibility. Are you kind of balancing the two? Do you have certain days that you work on one? What does that look like for you?
It's both every day.
Yeah,
To
so
be
at
honest,
least
you
touching
know,
both in some way.
When I got up this morning, I was setting up a new photographer with all of her accounts so I could train her in Mishawaka this morning and do that, run to the brewery, get beer for this, hit the road, come back. When I'm done with this, I'll be making dough at the brewery tonight for tomorrow. And
Wow.
it's just every day
you've got to touch both.
is a mix, and not every day is from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, but they are both throughout the day, every day.
Fantastic. Wow. That takes a lot. You got a lot of energy, I'm sure.
Well, I'm fortunate. I've got Mike is an amazing partner, and he'll do anything he can to make one run and be successful so that I can go focus on the other. So if I'm in the hospitals, he's happy to cover the tap room.
Got it.
If somebody else is working behind the bar for us, he's happy to be just emptying trashes and making sure the kitchen's okay and the bar's okay and just being a support factor in it.
Yeah.
But if it weren't for Mike, there's no way we could do both of these.
Yeah, that's
It
so
is
much.
a team effort for sure.
Good. So let's dive in. We always talk about some important women in your lives on these podcast episodes. Tell me about a woman in your life that's kind of largely impacted you or had a really strong impact on you.
As cliche as it sounds, it's got to be my mom.
Yeah?
Absolutely. My mom had 3 kids at the age of 20
Oof.
out of a situation that you wouldn't have looked at that and said, I see success coming. But my parents have been married. I can't do the math. Let's say my parents have been married for 54 years.
Okay. Ish. Yeah, we can be roundabout.
Ish, Mom, sorry.
My parents are 43, and I only know that because it is today. So happy anniversary to my parents. But
Oh,
yes,
happy anniversary.
I don't usually know that either, so that's okay.
So anyway, they've had a wonderful, long, beautiful marriage. For someone who had 3 kids at the age of 20, she had her first kid when she was a senior in high school. My mom never stopped going to school. My entire childhood, she was always taking classes. When I graduated from Ball State in '95, she was getting her master's degree the same year, graduating from Notre Dame. And she's just been a wildly successful person in a situation that you might not have expected that.
Yeah. And seeing that growing up, what did you learn from that?
That obstacles are just obstacles. You either go past them or you don't. But she always told me time just keeps passing anyway, so do something to move towards your goal because the time's going to pass whether you do it or not.
And I think the human body needs something hard, right? You got to be doing hard things. That's what we strive for. So if everything's perfect and easy, I just got back from vacation and it's all-inclusive resort. You literally don't have to do anything and they bring you food and drinks to wherever you're at. That's great for a week. But really, you do need to work for things in life, or else you'll never feel that fulfillment. And I think that's really important.
I agree with that.
Good. And tell me a little bit, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'd love to know more. When you began your career, did you think it would be what and where it is today, or what are the differences from,
Oh, well, not at all, because I've lived a lot of lives in one. I've been in sales, I've been a dancer, ballet dancer, I better clarify that.
I'm down with any kind of dancer, but yeah, ballet is good to know.
I've been a firefighter, a photographer, brewer, cook.
So if you were 18-year-old you, what did 18-year-old you want to do? Did you know? Or did you have something
at 18, I have a caregiver personality, and things medical have always seemed wildly intriguing to me. I really guess at 18 I thought I would have been a nurse.
Okay.
And that's what I started out in college, was I was going for nursing, and I switched into social work. And honestly, coming out of college, I went straight into sales. Social work was never part of it. It wasn't until 2020 when I became a CASA that I got back into that type of work. And that's as close as I've come to social work, is that work, that advocate work.
Are you doing that still? Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about that, because I don't think, number one, it's probably not as well known as it should be. I know a little bit just nature of the beast of what I get to do every day. But tell us about a CASA, what they do, who they support, and why you do it.
Yeah, so CASA is a court-appointed special advocate, and we represent children in the court system, kids that are part of DCS cases, things like that. Obviously, they are not in a court setting because that's not healthy for children. But my assigned cases, I keep up with my kids, and I'm a voice to the judge for them at every hearing. Just to help him understand where they stand in their case, what's going on with the parents, because I keep in touch with the parents and the extended family and anybody else that's involved in that too, just to help the judge understand what I feel is best for the children and what the children want, when everybody seems focused on the legal side of everything else.
Right. They're still heard, but they don't have to be in that scenario, which is just really too stressful.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and there's a big need for CASAs in every county, not just Stark County where I'm from, but every county in the state could use more CASA volunteers. And if you're one of those people who want to help, I sure hope you'll reach out to your local CASA.
Yeah, and you're right. They're everywhere. And so any county, I would assume, I know, I just saw the traffic recently because New Year, and we've got some listeners in Germany. I don't know what their CASA situation is, but I'm sure they have something. But in North America, I don't know of a community that doesn't have one or have one nearby. I know in Indiana, I know all the counties we cover. So if you think about Lakeport or LaPorte counties, they all have CASA opportunities available to everybody.
And they all need volunteers.
And they all need more volunteers. Yep, that's fantastic. And how do you think, for those that are going, I don't have time, how much time do you think you spend on those kiddos, keeping track of them, like a month?
First of all, I think we all make time for the things that are important to us.
100%, you're exactly right.
In every facet of
our
lives.
So everybody should, if that's something, especially if kiddos are something that's near and dear to you, or you really want to help a child.
Absolutely.
This is the
if you see court cases on TV that involve children, you see sad abuse cases that involve children, and you get mad, and you think, why isn't somebody doing something about that? Well, the answer lies with all of us.
Because it's those advocates and those volunteers that do it.
I can't think of any office of DCS that has enough people that work in it. Because of funding, I can promise you there aren't enough CASA advocates out there. There just aren't enough people. And if you've got 1 hour a week, you've got plenty of time to be a CASA advocate, because it doesn't eat into your time that much. I decide when I want to go visit my children. I decide the meetings I can make with DCS. And if I can't be in court because I have to be in a hospital or I have to be somewhere else, my CASA director will stand in for me. I just put in a report, and she reads my report with me, and then she stands in for me.
Perfect.
And we can all support each other that way inside CASA. So I truly feel like if it's something that speaks to your heart, that you wish you could make a difference for children, and also to support other people who are in the system trying to support those children, there's always time.
Yeah. So it sounds like, and I know I totally sidetracked there, sorry for the left turn, but it was very interesting. I love to touch on CASA because I really believe in what those volunteers do. So it sounds like, then to now, career is nothing what you thought. You thought probably some nursing and some caring for others, which sounds like you still do that.
Always, and that's always been a part of my thing, because when I was a firefighter, I was an EMT as well, so I was on an ambulance and providing care to people and helping. So I got to enjoy really the hands-on aspect of patient care in that scenario, but helping people can be in any aspect of your life every minute of every day, and I try to take advantage of every chance to do that.
That's amazing. Wow.
Well, thank you.
Great job. Great job. So tell me, significant obstacles is one we touch on monthly as well. What are some significant obstacles you had to overcome, or some adversity that you've had to overcome?
You know, I won't go there.
Yeah?
Because I'm one of the people that focuses on the positive and what's next, And so a few bad things have happened. Well, isn't that true for every single person on the
Yeah.
face of the earth? I
love that. That's fantastic. That's a great way to look at it, because we can all kind of, I suppose, drone on about the bad in our lives, but
something good came
Why?
out of every bad thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And every one of those good things have built me into what I am today. So I honestly can't look at a bad thing in my life and say, I wish that hadn't happened, because any of those things that didn't happen would change where I'm sitting today. And I really like where I'm sitting today.
I love that you say that. My friends and I do like the would you rathers kind of often. There's a podcast that we listen to that kind of plays jokes on that. And so we always end up with the would you rather or what ifs. And so what if you could change this thing? Or what would you change if you could change?
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, that's exactly where my brain instantly goes is, but I really love this and where I'm at with all of my life, every aspect I love. And so I would always say nothing, because I want to be here where I'm at. I don't need to be more or less, better, different. I don't care. I love, and I feel like I'm supposed to be exactly where I'm at.
Yep.
And I think that we probably don't give the kind of universe enough credit sometimes to just know that we're right where we need to be.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So do you truly feel like this is it? This is where you're supposed to be, right?
Absolutely.
Like you fit. Because it is such an interesting fit. If you think about photography, brewing, that's weird. It doesn't seem to fit, but it works so well for you, and that's what matters the most.
Absolutely. It's all creative outlets.
And like
craft
you said, and you make time for both, and you balance both, and you make that happen because they're both so important to you.
Yes, indeed.
That's amazing. So what's next up for the brewery? Tell me a little bit about that world.
Well, we've got a lot of good stuff going on. You know, we've evolved a lot since 2018 is when we opened the tap room. So we're coming up to our 5th year in the tap room. We've expanded things there. We added when COVID happened, we built a new kitchen and we expanded into pizzas. We've won best pizza in the county.
I was just going to say, which are amazing, by the way. If you haven't had them, get out there. They're awesome.
When I was growing up, we made homemade pizza at home, my dad's recipe, and so that's the recipe we use at the brewery. I've converted and scaled that into bigger sizes, and so that's our family recipe, and it's
cool.
very personal to me. So to win awards on that and have people come in and say it's the best pizza they've had, especially when it's people that I know travel a lot, and they've been everywhere, and they still say this is my favorite pizza. That means a lot to me. So.
And you said you grew up in Knox, correct? So you guys you had this pizza growing up, and then you've transferred it now. Does your family love this?
Oh, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And do you have family local?
I have a twin brother, Bob DeRuntz. He's a history teacher at Chesterton High School.
Okay.
Everybody knows him.
Okay. So everyone is they hear that they're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
shout out.
And I'm glad everybody
knows
knows
him. That's fantastic.
He's amazing. I'm wildly proud to be his twin. I look up to him and
love
admire
that.
him. He's just not only a kind person, but hysterical and just one of the best teachers ever.
That's
Just
awesome.
really, he makes a big difference in kids' lives, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's also a political force to be reckoned with. He's out
Okay.
there working hard. And
That's good.
He makes a big difference, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
And then
She's like, it's kind of cool. He's still my twin and he's still my brother.
That's right,
I got to
and
give him
I'm
a little
still
shit
older.
here or there. Yeah. Are you the older twin?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Oh my God. So, any anecdotes for those that don't know the twin life? Tell me about twin life growing up.
You know, it was fun growing up with a twin. I was a tomboy, and I don't know if it's because I had a twin brother or if that's just who I would have been anyway. I just was a really big tomboy.
And was it just you and your brother?
No, I have an older sister named
Okay.
Desiree. She's 2 years older, and she's amazing. She's an entrepreneur and a force to be reckoned with as well. She can do just about anything out there.
That's amazing.
She
So
gets
she
it
could
done.
have influenced you to be a little more girly maybe, but I bet you're right. I bet that's just who you are. You're just more of a tomboy.
I think
I am
it is.
too.
I think that is probably true.
Okay.
And probably pushed a little in that direction with my brother. We shared a lot of friends. We were in a lot of the same sports. A lot of hobbies together. We went to college together.
Really?
We're roommates in college. I mean,
That's cool.
and so it's been fun. It was fun to grow up that way, but it's been very cool as an adult to have that relationship. I'm close with both of them. I'm close to my sister
That's
too.
really amazing.
But there's no denying the connection that a twin has, and it's difficult to describe. We just have a connection.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right, and I don't know that anyone that's not a twin can really understand that. just because you're right. Like, that's a connection that I just don't know. It's just like when people talk about their kids. I don't have kids, and I don't know that love that everybody says. Like, that's a love. I have nieces, so I think
pets?
I have cats.
So,
Yeah,
so you
I'm a
get
little bit
it.
of a
When
cat
people
lady.
talk about their cats, you get
Yeah,
it, right?
that's true.
I get it.
That's true. I get it. That's
I
true.
will tell you, I walk into hospital rooms with twins, and I get very excited for people.
Really?
And sometimes they don't understand my excitement, and I have to say, well, I am a twin.
And I know what's in store for you guys.
I know what's in store, not only for you, but for them. And I'm excited at the relationship that they get to grow up with.
Yeah, that's really unique, and it's a really interesting kind of way. Yeah, that connection that you'll have. It's like kind of that permanent best friend connection
Yep.
from get-go.
Absolutely.
That's really amazing. Good.
So I've been very lucky to have them both in my life, all
Yeah.
51 years, and I have a ton of cousins, close cousins, and I've just got an amazing family, a really wonderful family.
That's really good. Yeah, I think and you're right. You mentioned kind of the adult relationship with family is always so cool because I think you're right. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and growing up, me and my brother were really close, and then we kind of grew up, and then we both lived in separate towns for a while and such. So none of us siblings were very close for a while, but now we've kind of course, as most do, you kind of come back closer to home as you get older and such. And then, of course, they both have children. So now it's like we're so much closer than we used to be, especially kind of in our 20s, because they have kids, and now I want their kids to come over, and we want to do
Isn't
the
that
dinners
fun?
together. Yeah, it's amazing. I love those adult relationships for that reason. Like, my niece is graduating high school, and I'm feeling a little old, but I love that we get to have that celebration for her. You know what I mean? And but then my brother, since he's younger, has one on the way, and so I have this really cool scope where I get to celebrate all the things in the middle. And it's cool to get older with that family where, you know, me and my sister maybe used to punch each other occasionally, get into some fights, but now it's
As
like
we do.
Yeah, as we do. As it happens occasionally, there was maybe some hair pulling, but yeah, now we're older and we can kind of, number one, really be proud of one another. My sister bought a gym. She bought the North Judson gym not too long ago. And then my brother...
Who's your sister?
Jessica Barkis.
Yes.
Yeah, you probably know her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so she's doing all these great things. And my brother and his wife got one on the way in a couple weeks now. And so it's just this really cool... Yeah, that come together of family as you get older, I think, is something that we probably don't preach about enough, but also maybe don't give enough gratitude for. It's really great, yeah. I'm glad that you see that and you already really love it.
Absolutely.
That's good. Okay. So, work-life relationship. You mentioned earlier, you definitely touch both kind of careers every day. What does that relationship work-life look like for you? It sounds like kind of work is life and life is work because you love them, but maybe I'm wrong. So kind of fill me in on how you create some sort of, whether it's balance or you threw balance out the window and you do it your own way, I don't care. What does that look like for you, and how do you kind of keep sane?
Well, it's different day to day. So let's say it's Wednesday to Sunday. The brewery's open. Those are our days that we're open. And then obviously we're in the hospitals shooting babies 7 days a week. And if I'm in the hospital shooting or training people, I might be in the hospital in the morning and then go to the brewery and either help support or staff in the kitchen or doing whatever. And I may be there till 8 or 10 o'clock at night, depending on the day of the week. But we do have an amazing staff at both places. I've got great photographers that do work for me and have worked for me in the past. I've always been blessed with great photographers.
Great team. Okay.
We have one in your building that used to work for me.
Okay.
That was wonderful. And because we have such great staff at both places, it's not like I have to be at either one open to close. It might be a Friday that we don't close till 10, but I might be home on the couch at 8 because we can.
Yeah.
And that is something that we've had to work towards and realize that just because the open sign is on doesn't mean Mike and I have to be there. I mean, obviously we want
And it's
to be
probably
there.
hard to...
It is hard.
Yeah,
it's hard
that's
to
really
walk
tough.
away. And I swear to you, the minute I walk home and I get my cozy clothes on, someone sends a text, so-and-so's here and would love to see you. And they might have driven an hour. And, well, what do? I probably have to go back and say hi. But we're getting to the point where we know we can't be there every opening hour. Otherwise, life isn't balanced.
For you as a human, yeah.
You just get burnt out that way. So because we've had the courage to let people take some things over, and it does take courage because I'm a control freak.
I understand that a ton.
Yeah,
Same here.
So we do try to say, it's okay. we have raised this baby and it's walking, and let's let it walk and go home and enjoy some time together, because if we can't enjoy time together and keep our personal connection going, how do you keep a business going?
If that's not good, that's not going to be good.
And so we try to plant all the seeds and water them and make sure everything's good on all fronts so that we do enjoy going to work. If we show up at the brewery and decide it's not fun anymore, I will put a for sale sign on the front and move to Florida.
Yay.
Florida would be the last place I'd move, but
she's like, have you heard about the people out in Florida? No, I'm just kidding.
have you seen the way they drive? Let's talk about the important stuff.
Exactly. I have heard this from many a friend that live in Florida. They're like, Florida's fantastic. The driving makes me insane.
So anyway, we do just try to balance it out so that we always have time together. We enjoy time. We have breakfast together every day before we leave to work. We try to eat dinners together.
You've got those key things that you really try to stick to.
And we try to get away from home and business. We try to every once in a while go visit somebody else's brewery and sit and drink their beer or water, wine, whatever.
Yeah.
And just enjoy not needing to think about anything other than just relaxing and looking at each other and talking about whatever we want to talk about that day.
And you guys probably still, it seems like you still really enjoy the time together.
We do.
That's really good.
Oh, we're such nerds about each other.
I was going to say, how do you keep that kind of going? You said you've been married 12 years?
11.
11.
He's just my person, and I'm his. I mean, we were. If any two people were made to be together, I just feel like it was me and Mike.
It's you guys.
I can't imagine being successful in these businesses and being able to run them in a loving way. We don't fight at work. We don't argue about things because I'd get my way anyway. We generally have the same opinions about things, and that works so well because we're 99% of the time on the same thought process and the same track and desire about those things that it just works out. I mean, we're lucky that we can say we have that kind of relationship at work and at home.
That's great. And what are you excited about on the brewery side? You guys are, some of my favorite stuff that you do are your summer parties and such. You do some car shows and you do some kind of live music events and things like that. Do you have anything upcoming that you're excited about?
Well, this year, we couldn't do our anniversary party last year, so I'm really excited to get back to, this will be our 5/9 party. So it's our 5th year in the tap room, but it's our 9th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't know we existed before the tap room.
Right.
And heck, we were there for a year, and a lot of people still walked in and said, "There's a brewery here?"
Yeah.
What are you?
You're
What
like,
do you
how
do?
did you not know? But some people don't catch it.
A lot of people don't know. So, we're going to throw a blowout anniversary party. We've got our Brew Fest in October. That is a throwdown party. You know, we'll fill that backyard with wineries, cideries, breweries, and a costume contest and live music. That is always a winner.
Always a fun. Yeah, exactly. And then you've got. Well, first I wanted to ask, when is the backyard party you mentioned?
It will be in the first part of July.
Okay, so we can kind of stay tuned for that.
And then the Brew Fest will be right around the weekend before Halloween is when that'll be.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have music every Saturday night, so if you're looking for a way to get out and sit down and enjoy some live music close, we have music every weekend.
And then also like games and like game nights. And are you guys still doing the vinyl nights? I haven't been to one in a while.
The Bring Your Own Vinyl?
Yeah.
We have not had an actual Bring Your Own Vinyl in a while, but anybody can come in and pick the vinyl. We have just a ton.
Oh, I love it. I've partaken a couple times. It's a blast. I love a good vinyl.
If somebody walks in the door with it in their hands, we're playing it.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, I got to remember that next time. Good. So I want to ask you, you're kind of, I think, currently going through a bit of a journey with cancer. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But I would love to talk about that journey, what it's been for you, and then hopefully offer some kind of positive reinforcement for those also going through a similar journey. So if you can, tell us a little bit about the journey and what you've gone through so far.
Well, you wouldn't expect this, but I have to tell you, it's been a huge gift. I got diagnosed with triple negative stage 2B breast cancer right after my 50th birthday last January.
Wow.
And
what does that mean for someone that's not super smart and doesn't know what all those terms mean?
So there's a lot.
Is that like a really bad version, a really good version?
There are different kinds of breast cancer, and I got the one you don't want to have. It's called triple negative breast cancer, and it means that you can't fight it with any hormones. It tends to have a higher recurrence and all this good stuff. I don't like to think about that though. It's not.
Of course.
I'm not going to have a recurrence. I've done my time.
Exactly. You served your time.
That's right. So anyway, diagnosed on January 25th. I started chemo in February. I did 5 months of chemo. I had a partial mastectomy and lymph nodes removed because it was in my lymph nodes as well. And then I did 25 sessions of radiation.
Wow.
And then just last month, on January 31st, I finished my year point on immunotherapy. So I'm officially done with therapy. Thank you.
Congrats. I have
Thanks,
goosebumps.
Yeah,
Yay.
thanks. I had my chemo port removed last week.
Good.
So I'm outside of just, some normal blood work checkups and some scans that are scheduled for July, I'm done. And
Wow.
the year went
Congrats.
fast. Thank you.
And how, chemo, awful, not awful, some give, take, good days,
I
bad
try
days?
to tell everybody this. We went into this thinking that it would be this awful journey, that I'd be in bed a lot, I'd be sick, I'd lose weight, it would just be awful. And it wasn't. Mike and I looked at this as just a project to keep checking boxes off the list, because I love to check things off lists. And so every week we went to chemo. We went to Chicago to Rush, and they were amazing to me. Every
Right.
week we looked at it as an adventure. And the chemo itself was never bad. As it progressed, there were just a variety of just stupid side effects that were annoying. But I was fortunate that I was never down and crazy sick. I didn't lose weight. I gained weight. I had to fix that.
Like I really never know how to.
Thanks,
to
cancer.
Yeah.
Like, all the things you're going to give
Like
me. I
anything
can't
else.
lose a few pounds.
Yeah, right?
And that's nothing to complain about, because there are people who do truly get sick and lose so much weight that they can't continue with treatment, or it hinders their progress. And so as far as things could go, they went really good for me.
Yeah, and you said I was kind of blessed with this, or I'm not sure exactly how you said it, but almost like a gift. Why do you say it that way?
Because I feel better today, obviously, than when it started. And granted, I was walking around sick for a little while and didn't know it.
Right.
That's how cancer works.
Yep.
But I just had so many positives come out of it. We stopped at my parents' every week after chemo, and my mom had lunch ready for us, or dinner, depending
so
on
much more
what
time
it
than you
was.
probably would normally have.
Absolutely. I had a ton more time with my family. My friends came out of the woodwork to
The support I
me.
saw online alone was absolutely stunning.
Oh, my people rallied. My customers, my employees, my friends, my family, they
Yep.
just absolutely rallied for me
Yeah.
and took pressure off of me. My husband looked at me and said, if you have to lay in bed for a year to get well, then that's what you'll do.
Yep.
I will do everything I can at the brewery, and if you can't do the things I don't normally do, I will find somebody to hire them to do it. And I remember thinking, oh, that's so cute. That's easy to say on day one.
Right, yeah.
But he kept it up for an entire year. If I didn't want to get off the couch, I didn't get off the couch. If I wanted to go to the brewery, put on a mask, and listen to some music, I could go do that. And he didn't take that to me, and I was going to keep showing up. It just, whatever felt good to me
That's
on
what you
any
wanted to
given
do
day,
today. Yeah.
he supported that. And just for an entire year, I will take the brunt of everything so that you can just sit and get well.
That's really amazing. And
No-
here you
nobody gets that
are,
lucky.
done with it. That's
Yeah.
so fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, kudos.
Thank you.
Congrats. And thank you for looking at that as such an angle, because I think, again, as I mentioned, there's other people that either are listening, watching, or know someone that's going through something similar that can use some of that and use some of that mindset. Because that's a really hard mindset to have when you're faced with something that you didn't want to be faced with. Something hard, something difficult, something scary, whatever that is. And so it's
You're
really
right.
great to have that mindset. And it takes us a lot. That's hard.
It is a choice, in my opinion.
It is.
But I've always been, my cup has always been half full, no matter what. I'm just that type of person. I'm a positive Patty through and through, but I promise you, the fact that we could look at it as a project, the fact that we knew that we wouldn't fail, me dying was never, I'm not going to lie, I had 3 minutes one day where I was like, what if I have to leave my family? I sobbed it out, and I moved on, and I never gave that a thought again. And I asked Mike when we were done, were you ever afraid I would die? And he said, no, I knew you'd never die.
Yeah.
So I think having an absolute knowledge and what you believe to be true, that you can heal and you can be well again, that if you can put your belief in a whole lot of different things, modern medicine, crystals, Reiki, massage.
Yeah.
Anything that made me feel like I was a success, that I could be a success, I embraced it. Whether or not it seemed like voodoo to somebody, or other people thought modern medicine and chemicals weren't the thing. Well, guess what? I want to live, and if chemicals are going to help me live, I'm going to pump them all into my body today.
Yeah, and like everyone has a journey, and whatever that looks like for you, whatever's best for you. I love all of those kind of the more holistic opportunities that are presented in the Reiki and things like that. But yeah, and some things, that's just not going to cut it. And if you need a little more, whatever that is, let's do it.
I tried to hit it from every direction I could, and I also tried to not expose myself to things that wouldn't serve me, because I truly do believe thoughts become things.
Keep the negative people out of your life. Keep the negative news out of your life. Keep all the garbage out.
Stop reading side effects.
Oh my gosh!
Because you know
stop reading
what?
side effects.
You're gonna have those side effects.
And that one too. No. Or maybe you won't notice it if you don't read it. Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, very good. I think that you're right. It's exactly a choice, and I think it's a harder or easier choice depending on the person you are. But you're right, and I think you making that decision to be positive is another way, just like Reiki or meditation or anything else, that you can put another kind of good coin in the good pile, right? And it's just another thing that you can put towards that cancer to say, screw you, buddy.
That's right.
I'm
It's been
coming for
fun.
ya. Yeah.
And thanks for it. And I also I never looked at it like I had to beat cancer. Well, obviously I did beat cancer. But I never looked at it like I had to go kill cancer.
Right.
When every single week I went to chemotherapy, I looked at that drip bag and all those syringes they were pumping in me, and I said, we're on the same team. I will not work against you. Please find my cancer and convert it to love. That's all I ask, is that we take this cancer and we convert it to love. Because it's in my body. It's not going to go away. So the only option is to convert it to goodness.
Transform it. Yeah. That's amazing.
So there it is.
Incredible. I love it. Speechless. Fantastic. Okay, so are you ready for the quick response round?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is the fun part, as everybody that's listened before knows, but if you're new here, I'm going to ask Erica some questions all about, I don't know, they're weird. Some fun, interesting questions she has to answer quickly, or she gets, I know, it's aggressive.
Like me.
See, we're on the right page, it's fine. All right, number one, would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
Oh my God, telekinesis, please. Nobody
Really?
wants to read each other's minds. It's the worst gift ever.
I always go immediately, like, I want to know what, then I'm like, do I?
No.
I don't think I do.
No, you don't want to know what everybody
I'll just
thinks.
like move cars out of my way on the highway or something.
What you think is none of my business. Then.
Exactly. Your opinion of me is none of my business. It's fine. Probably, gracefully just bow out of knowing that. Yeah. If the old you could see the new you, what would the old you say?
Chill out. Take it as it comes. It's all going to be okay.
Okay. I love that. That's good. Would you rather be chronically underdressed or overdressed?
Overdressed.
Yeah, me too. 100%. I'm like a tomboy at heart, but I love to like be bougie. Give me a skirt, I'm in. What woman would you want to have on your side in a battle royale?
My mom.
What a good
It always
one.
goes back to her.
Yeah.
She'll throw down.
And she's still making me lunch after chemo, 50 years later. That's pretty amazing. That's good. You now own a billboard. What does it say?
You're amazing.
You're fantastic. Have you ever? I'm sure you've seen the "You Are Beautiful" sign in Michigan City.
Yeah.
See, same premise. I love it. Would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the future?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. See, I'd go 150, I think. I don't know.
I can't do anything with that.
That might be, I was going to say, that might be too much to even want to know about. When do you pack for a vacation? Are you the night before, are you the week before, are you the month before? How do you do that?
I'm a lot of times the morning of, pal.
Really?
I know what I have to take. I don't need to take that much.
Oh my, and so you're probably a light packer too.
I am.
Really?
I love the challenge of how little can I pack so that I can gloat to my husband. Because Mike is if I'm going for 3 days, well, I probably need 10 different t-shirts.
Okay, this is flipped in my household.
Yeah, I'm the one that says if I'm going for 3 days, I'll pack 2 shirts because surely I'll wear one of them again.
Oh, you're so much cooler than me. I just went on vacation. We were gone for 8 days, and I definitely brought a solid 12 or 13 outfits. Mm-hmm. And we were in the water and stuff, so I was a little nervous there too, but you probably wouldn't care about that either. You're like, no, I'll figure it out. Oh, something will be dry.
And somebody has a washing machine. If you got to wash it, you'd find a way to wash it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. That's really good. I mean, I need to be better. I am aware because I don't get to ever gloat to my husband.
You don't need to be better. You're just right.
You're right. I could be bougie and bring 15 outfits. It's
Did
fine.
you hurt anybody by
I did
taking
not.
more outfits?
I didn't even have to pay extra
then
luggage
take all the
fees.
outfits you want, sweetie.
And let me tell you, I was adorable. So it's fine. It's fine that I bring 7 bathing suits. It's not a big deal. I do want to gloat to my husband, though, so I'm a little jealous of that. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to be like, look at Mike, because he's always like, look, I have 5 days. We have 5 days, so I have 5 T-shirts. I don't know what you're doing.
I challenged him. We went on a cruise into the Bahamas, and we went in backpack each. One backpack.
Nope. How long?
We were gone for 7 days.
Nope. That is incredible.
Do you know how nice it was to stand in customs with just a backpack over my shoulder, not a big bag?
Yeah. I've never even gone on a trip that long without a check.
But you could if you wanted to.
I think. You could. I could definitely at least get it down to a carry-on. Backpack would be tough, but that's okay. I'm going to try that sometime. I think that would be fun. Yeah, I think it would be empowering to try to just see, what do you really need? Mm-hmm. Isn't that a Mark Twain quote or something where it's like, live for a week with all the minimal and you're going to be so unscared of what that's about. Someone can tell me how wrong I am on that quote. I know I just read it in a book 2 days ago, but I don't know who it is. But they talk a lot.
I like
Maybe it's Seneca. Somebody just talks about for a week or a month or whatever it is, go to the bare minimum, and then you won't be scared of that anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting. What superhero would you most want to be?
Oh, goodness. Thor.
Ooh, that's a new one. Why? Do you know?
Well, I like to break things.
Okay.
And if I were Thor, I could look in the mirror all day long and be like, damn.
Yes! Okay, I love that. Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every single song you hear?
Dance.
Dance. Mm-hmm. Okay. And will we find you dancing at the live music at the brewery?
Oh, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've never seen you out there, but I've only been to 3 or 4. Not a million, but I'll be looking. What do you prefer, being extremely cold or extremely hot?
Extremely hot.
Yeah? Me too. Warm weather's always better. Yeah. Cold. Everyone's like, but cold you can layer up. I'm like, yeah, but it's so painful.
Yeah, it's painful.
I don't
like to shiver.
Mm-hmm. And do you guys travel because of that? Do you guys like to go to warm spots?
No, we end up in the cold all the time. It
really?
seems like at some point every year we're on the motorcycle in snow somewhere. We're on the motorcycle in freezing rain because we traveled to national events with Mike's Motorcycle Club. So, yeah, cold is just... I try to remind myself that it's okay to be uncomfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes. That's a really great thing. I think
it's okay being comfortable being uncomfortable. That's what it is.
Yes. I knew what you were saying. I think you're right, though. That's a really good thing. It's just sometimes it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's just the mentality of do hard things. You're gonna be fine. Yeah. I mean, don't do anything extreme, but just being cold is okay. I don't know if I want to be cold on a motorcycle, though. I really don't want to be. That's interesting. And how much do you guys travel on the motorcycle?
A lot.
Really?
A lot. Yeah.
That's tough in general.
We've ridden to Houston. We've ridden to Seattle, Denver. Wow. We've ridden to both coasts.
Really?
Yeah, we ride all the time.
My grandparents were big motorcyclists for a long time, but as they got older and I think had a little more money, they got a sidecar for quite some time. They don't ride anymore, but they got a sidecar.
Yeah. Benson.
That would be so cool. Oh my gosh. The photos that would come of that.
Right.
If you guys don't know, Benson's her dog. And he's pictured on the glass, right?
Yeah, get your crotch sniffed at 1056 Brewing.
Is that what it says? It's hilarious. So same thing. If you're not on YouTube, check it out. But she brought us these amazing, and a sticker. So she brought us some swag. I'm getting swag these days, and I'm really excited about it. Get your crotch sniffed at 1056 Brewing because they have the beautiful Benson, which is the sweetest pup ever. And he's always there. He's there a lot. Yeah, exactly. And then we know. She's here somewhere. I love that. So anything else you want to mention? You did it. All of the quick response. You didn't get buzzed once. You were very fast.
I didn't like that sound, so I
know.
I was motivated.
Very aggressive. Anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. And how can people connect with you and all of your companies if they want to connect with you or 1056 or anybody else?
You can find Love You Baby Photography on Facebook or at loveyoubabyphotography.com. 1056 Brewing is on Facebook. 1056brew.com, a little bit different there. 1056 Brewing's on Instagram too.
Got it. And briefly, I didn't bring this up, but I want to. Tell us the name, the reasoning behind the name, and how you came up with 1056 Brewing.
Like we talked, Mike is a retired state trooper, and that is the Indiana State Police Code for a drunk pedestrian. So we thought we would just play on that. And since he was a motor officer the last 12 years, we took the wheel and wings, and that's why we have
the
wheel
logo.
and wings.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's a blessing to have you, Erica. I
you.
am so excited. I love already what you're doing at the brewery, but to learn more about the photography side and you as a person has been absolutely awesome. So thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. As always, guys, pay attention. Come back each month for a new episode. Also, All About the Girls, the annual event just launched June 1st here in downtown Valparaiso. Get your tickets ASAP. Those will sell out, and we have open tickets to 500 this year. So get your tickets. Hope to see you there. Hope you loved meeting Erica. And we'll talk soon, guys. Have a great day.